and it's on bearing and vectors. What are the objectives that we look forward to achieving at the end of this topic? At the end of this topic, you should be able to solve distance bearing problems. You should be able to add, subtract, and multiply vectors. You should be able to find the magnitude and direction of a column vector. And you should be able to understand and use the triangular law of vector addition. Don't worry if you don't understand most of the terms here. I'm going to explain all of them to you. Let's begin by tackling the first part of our topic, which is bearings. Bearings give direction in terms of an angle. In our everyday lives, we use directions. When we are moving from one place to another and we do not know the place we are going to, we ask people for directions. Vehicle drivers, pilots, and captains of ships also use directions in order to navigate from one place to the other. In the directions that we give to people or people give to us in everyday lives, we use some points
Sabo,
as our point
I'm
of
on way be
reference.
fairly.
Now, this
Why are
is
we?
what I'm talking about. Let's say that we have this town here called Town A, and we are going to represent
Was
Town
it?
A with this circle. There is a tree here, and there's another town here called Town B. Now, Mr. Kofi, we are going to call this man here Mr. Kofi. He's at Town A, and he wants direction to Town B. Since he's already walking in the direction of the tree, if he asks you for directions to Town B, what will you tell him? You might probably tell him to walk straight to the tree. So if you walk straight to the tree here, then when he gets to the tree, you will tell him to turn left and walk straight. He will be able to get to Town B. So he will turn left and walk straight to Town B. So you have been able to give Mr. Kofi direction from Town A to Town B. These are the directions that we give to people in our everyday lives. So you see the path that Mr. Kofi will walk through will be from Town A to the tree, then from the tree to Town B. This is the path that Mr. Kofi will take in order to get to Town B. These are the types of directions that we give to people in our everyday lives. Bearings can also give direction, or bearings also give direction. But for bearings, the direction they will give will be in terms of an angle. Now, that's what we are talking about. Let's say that we want to give Mr. Kofi direction from Town A to Town B using bearing. How do we do it? All we need to do is to draw our four cardinal points on Town A. We know our four cardinal points from GHS. That is north, then here will be south, here will be west, and here is east. So these are our four cardinal points on Town A. So Mr. Kofi is at Town A, and these are our four cardinal points. What we will need to know is the angle that Mr. Kofi will have to turn when he is at Town A. Now, this is what we mean. You can see that when you draw your four cardinal points on Town A, you can draw a line from Town A to Town B. Now, if we give Mr. Kofi this angle here, the angle that will be created here, if we give that angle to Mr. Kofi, all Mr. Kofi needs to do is that when he gets to Town A, he will turn in this angle. He will turn using this angle. So let's say that the angle we are going to give, or the angle form here, is 70 degrees. Okay. So all Mr. Kofi will need to do is that when he gets to Town A, he will face in the northern direction, that is this direction, then turn 70 degrees towards the east. When he turns 70 degrees towards the east, he is going to be on this line. Then he will now begin to walk on this line, and he will get to Town B. So from here, we can say that when Mr. Kofi gets to Town A, this time he stands on Town A. Instead of walking straight to the tree, then turning left in order to get to Town B, All he needs to do is that he will have to turn through the angle that will be given to him. Here we are assuming that the angle is 70 degrees. So when he gets to town A, he would face the northern direction. So here Mr. Kofi is going to face in the northern direction like this. Then he will turn 70 degrees towards the east, as we saw in the diagram, as we saw previously, and move along that line. So as soon as Mr. Kofi turns 70 degrees towards the east, he will begin to move along that line, and he can now move from town A to town B. So you see, we have given directions, but we give directions in two types. In the first one, we use the tree as our reference point. So he walks from town A to the tree, then turns left and walks to town B. But in the second one, we used an angle to give the direction. This is what we refer to as a bearing. When you give an angle, when you use an angle to give direction, you call that angle the bearing. So in this case, the angle that will be created here, this angle, the one we assumed as 70 degrees, let's take it that is 70 degrees. The angle that will be created here is called the bearing of town B from town A. So the angle that is used to give the direction is what we refer to as the bearing. Because here we are giving the bearing of town B from town A, this 70 degrees here, we are just assuming the angle that will be created here, which we are calling 70 degrees, is referred to as the bearing of town B from town A. So bearings gives directions in terms of angles.